If you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing. And if you do, Bomb Site B won't get blown up.
It's been 20 years. I fought them in the Middle East. I fought them at the Aztec temples, and I fought them around the world. 20 years in the battlefield. Feels like it was just yesterday.
Before we look at the maps, let's take a look at the development history of Counter-Strike. The story starts with Min Lee, a university student who was well versed in creating mods for Quake 1. Around 1999, while creating a mod for Quake 2, he got uninterested in it and decided to do something on the Gold Source engine, the same engine that is used in Half-Life 1. Along the way, he met Jess Cliff, a member of the A-Team, creators of Action Quake 2. Together, on an IRC chat, they decided on a final name for this idea, this mod, and they both agreed that they would call it Counter-Strike. Around May 1999, there was a problem. There were no map designers. Jess Cliff reached out to all the people that had ever submitted a map on Radium, which was an old website that hosted Half-Life maps. They got a lot of submissions and they decided to keep 4 of the maps in the first beta of the mod. During the end of 1999, Valve approached both Min and Jess about acquiring the Counter-Strike license and providing both with jobs at Valve. They both agreed. In April of 2000, Valve announced that Counter-Strike 1.0 will be released in a future Half-Life 1 patch. This meant that the mod was out of the beta stages and was ready for a commercial release. In August of 2000, they announced that in addition to being included as a mod with Half-Life, Counter-Strike will be released as a standalone product on November 9th, 2000, on this day, 20 years ago. Counter-Strike was in beta from June 1999 to August of 2000. After the commercial release, Counter-Strike kept getting updated and reached its final stage at version 1.6 in September of 2003. 1.6 is the same version that is available on Steam right now, although with minor tweaks to make it more modern. Now, what I shared was the absolute skimmed version of Counter-Strike's development history. There is a lot more, but today, we're just going to prioritize the maps above everything else. I honestly do not think that I need to explain what exactly is Counter-Strike. Everybody and their moms, dads, grandparents and uncles know what Counter-Strike is, so I'll just be skipping over the factions, the weapons, the scenarios, and anything else that isn't related to the maps of the game. However, if you would like to see these topics in another video, maybe I'll do that some other time. There are 25 maps in the current release of Counter-Strike 1.6. We'll be going through each of them in accordance to their release date, or rather, the date on which they were added in the game. First up is Siege. Released on June 19, 1999, the map was created by Justin DeJong. Given the age of the map, it's not very detailed, but still, it's an interesting one. The textures of the outdoors area remind me of a lot of Half-Life 1. It has a good balance between having long-range outdoor areas and close-quarter combat areas indoor. There's also multiple entries to retrieve the hostages, so that's an added bonus. Good map, but I can't recall if I ever played this one. Now, Assault is a map that I have definitely played, oftentimes while pulling an all-nighter. It's a hostage rescue map released on June 27, 1999 by Larry Moo. Their full name was hard to pronounce, so I'll just call them Larry Moo. Most of the action takes place in the indoor areas of the warehouse and sometimes on the roof of the warehouse. Most of these maps have great lighting placement and design. For example, I love the outdoor area. We know it's nighttime by looking at the sky, but the purplish light signifies that it's a full moon. There are no light sources outside apart from the moon. I've played this map a lot, one of my favorites. Militia is also a map that I've played a lot. Released on September 14, 1999 and created by Andrew Oman. Its outdoor area and especially the textures remind me that of an area in Half-Life 1 where we escaped to after the apprehension chapter. That waste processing facility area. Anyway, in this map, most of the action took place either in or around the house or in the middle. There are multiple ways to reach the house to save the hostages, but it's your choice. Good map, but not a lot to say about it. It's your standard map. Now, Dust is an iconic map, no doubt about it. Fan favorite. Released on November 5th, 1999 by David Johnston. David actually had a friend create all the textures in this map, and that's why it has an iconic look to it. It's unique. It was partially inspired by the original Team Fortress 2 screenshots that David saw and created a map from that inspiration. Back in the day when I used to play this map while on a summer break, I could feel the heat from the sand because it was so goddamn hot and humid. Whenever I load up this map, I still remember those days. Nuke was created by Joe Beig and released on November 5th, 1999. It's also an iconic map like Dust. Like most maps, the action took place mostly indoors and sometimes there used to be sniper battles outdoors. It's some sort of facility that houses a nuke in the lower area. The dark atmosphere below reminds me of Black Mesa. Played a lot of this as well. Good map. Prodigy is a map that I have never played, but saw a lot of the servers that had this on 24/7. It's some sort of science facility along with an area that depicts the mountainous surroundings. It has a nice aesthetic, but I never got the charm from it that I got from other maps. Maybe that's why I never played it. Not much to say here, but it's a good map. I didn't add this in the script, I forgot, but I want to mention that Prodigy was created by Alexander Manilov and released on November 5th, 1999. Back Alley is a unique map, as in it's 90% close quarters, so don't expect any long-range sniper usage here. It was created by Jamie McTaggart and released on December 23rd, 1999. Maps usually have a balance of long range and close range, but sometimes it's nice to have a map like Back Alley. And this map is where the automatic weapons and the shotguns shine. I like the aesthetic of this map. It's a late night. The light sources like tube lights and bulbs illuminate the map. The textures give this look of some inner city area where the operation is going down. I played this rarely, but it's a good map. Train is my third most favorite map out of the 25. Released on December 23, 1999, it was created by Christopher Mayer. This has that balance of long range and close range areas. The map's aesthetic is simple, but the charm is there. Yellow tinted hallways, a bit of sunlight off the train carriages, and the nuke in the middle, and that open area. It's so memorable. Amazing map. I load this up with bots whenever I feel nostalgic. 747 is a weird map. Like, it's mostly indoors and completely close ranged. Back Alley did the close quarter areas right, but this is too much. There is a bit of the terminal area that is open, but the hostages are inside the plane, and that is a really tight spot to exchange gunfire in. The map was created by Leon Newwood and Stephen Superville and released on March 10, 2000. The design is okay, I guess. There's not much to say here. It's an okay map, never played before. Created by Chris Ashton and released on March 10th of 2000, Oil Rig is an awesome map. The setting is unique. An oil rig in the middle of nowhere, and it's a map of one of the rare types of game modes, Assassination. It's where the CT have to escort a VIP person who's just armed with a pistol. If the VIP dies, the CT lose. The industrial feel of this map looks amazing. Kind of reminds me of old Quake maps. And of course, that skybox. Like a painting in the sky. Most of the interior is lit by a few lights, so there is a good balance of light and shadows. It all adds up for the atmosphere. There's a body of water in the middle, and I don't know why would somebody jump in there. I only played this map with bots when I was a kid. I don't think I had the chance to play this online with other players. Great map, and I have a lot of fond memories here. Now, Aztec is my all-time favorite map. Created by Christopher Audi and released on June 8, 2000. It's number 1 in my books. I don't know why it didn't get the same praise as Dust or Dust 2, but I love it. Maybe it's the rain or the cloudy skybox that got me, or maybe the map's layout. With mainly 2 routes to take, it was always a different experience every round while playing this map. Plus, when compared to the dark lighting and gritty texture work of other maps, this one is more brighter and optimistic looking. There are quite a lot of servers, even today, that play this map 24/7. Fantastic map, all-time favorite, here and in CS Source. Cobble or Cobble is a very nice looking map. The creator of Dust and Dust 2, David Johnston, made this map and it was released on June 8, 2000. The castle aesthetic is very unique if compared with the other maps. The texture work is nice, but I've often seen or read that the proportions in this map are a bit incorrect. I don't see how. Maybe I'm just not getting it. It's a fairly large map with multiple routes to go to either bomb sites. I've actually played a lot of this map as a kid. On the same server that my ISP used to host, I would get 2 to 3 milliseconds of latency back then, since it was a local server. Good times. This map always confused me though, because it's so large, you'd have no idea where the enemy is coming from. I didn't perform that well on this map, but overall, a great map. Estate's skybox is amazing. I'll start off with that. Created by David Marsh and released on June 8th, 2000, Estate is a fairly simple and fun map to play. There isn't a lot of detail, but the simplistic charm of the map makes it fun to play. It's a hostage rescue map, so you have to get in close quarter encounters to rescue them. It makes for exciting experiences. The mapping style gives off that signature Gold Source engine vibes. I like that. I I really like that. Great map. Really had fun playing this all along the years. Italy. Such a memorable map. This, along with Aztec and Office and Dust 2, is one of my most played map. Italy was created by Glenn Cooper and released on June 8, 2000. I have countless memories of this map. This one time, some guy from the opposite team challenged me to a 1v1 and all the other players went into spectator mode. It was such a thrilling time. All eyes were on us and everybody went wild in the chat whenever we'd eliminate the other. Unfortunately, I lost the challenge, but his GG at the end made me feel better. It was some sort of a virtual bond with other players. I wonder sometimes, where are all the people that I used to play CS with all those years ago? Those names that I would see in the scored list. I wonder what happened to them in the past 20, 15 years. I wonder if they're all fine. If there was a map almost as good as Train, I'd say it was Office. Office was created by Alexander Manilov and released on August 26, 2000. Playing this map on cold December nights was the best feeling ever. It had a good balance of long-range areas and short-range ones. I remember getting ambushed outside when I was recovering the hostages, or getting in intense firefights in the office corridors. It was absolutely wild. The source version of this map is equally amazing as this one. With Train as my third favorite and Aztec as my most favorite, Dust 2 was my second favorite map. Created by David Johnston and released on March 13, 2001, the map is legendary. There's no doubt about it. Even if someone has never played Counter-Strike, they can recognize Dust 2. The textures are similar to Dust, but the layout is vastly different. Compared to Dust, Dust 2 is larger and has a variance in its types of areas. There's an area for sniping, close quarter battles, or good old AK versus M4 encounters. Absolutely amazing map. Inferno is a close contender for my third favorite map. The worn out textures of the buildings, the old town aesthetic, it's all brilliant. Created by Christopher Audi and released on March 13, 2001, Inferno is a sniper's playground. Although the map doesn't seem like it has long-range areas, but there are. You would just need to turn a bit to the right or left and you would see a clear shot that goes through across the map. Oftentimes, enemy would hide behind these many boxes and you would get jumped at any point. Sometimes they'd be hiding in the small gaps on the sides of the walls. Memorable map. Had a lot of fun playing this one too. People like Vertigo, but honestly I do not. It's a good map, but it's not memorable for me. This one was also created by Christopher Audi and released on March 13, 2001. It has a cool setting, fighting on top of this high-rise construction site. The skybox is cool too, with the whole city around you. I remember as a kid, the first time I loaded up this map, the first thing I did was jump off the edge to see if I land on the ground. Unfortunately, my character died mid-air and disappeared. Cool map, but I didn't play it, a lot of it. Storm was created by Dunk, and it was released on September 12, 2001. It has this gothic feeling that I really like. The architecture and the textures are really gritty, and so is the lighting, both outdoor and indoor. I always played this map with bots because I could never find a server that would load this map. It is a bit on the larger side, so it takes a while to find your enemies near the end of the round. It's a very nice looking map, didn't play a lot of it though. I love and hate Survivor. Maybe it's just me, but I never performed well on this map. I don't know why. Maybe there are a lot of multiple routes the enemy can come through and I would get confused. I don't know, it's weird. Created by Michael Visser and released on September 12, 2001, it nails the design and aesthetic. The snowy area looks beautiful, even if most of it is covered in snow. I liked this part where you had the option to traverse to the bomb sites by either through the little valley below or the bridge above. I found this little area to be very charming. It has these little buildings which don't make sense being here, like how would the cars even get out of this place? There's no road that leads them out. But it's a cool looking map. Loved this map as a kid, still love it today. Torn, created by Nick Coombe and Matt Coombe, released on September 12th, 2001. I honestly don't have a lot to say about this. I have never played this map before, even with bots. It's a nice looking map for sure, but I don't know how to say this. It doesn't have any memorable spots, like in other maps there's something in the map that your mind attaches to, but here I can't seem to relate to anything. It's all consistent looking and good. There are some parts which look nice design wise, but apart from that, it's an okay map, I guess. Good map, never played before. Chateau is beautiful. Here's the thing, I never played this map, but I always loaded it up and just looked at it while I was in spectator mode. It's just too good looking, I love it. Created by Chris Ashton and Edo Magel, it was released on April 24th, 2002. It checks out every criteria. Atmosphere, textures, architecture, detail, everything is amazing looking. It's a huge map, so it takes a while to encounter enemies, especially if you're in one of those cat and mouse situations. I don't have much to say, so I'll just show you a couple of shots I took. Great looking map, but never played before. Ruffvan was also created by Chris Ashton and Edo Magel and released on April 24th, 2002. Like their Chateau map, Ruffvan is beautiful to look at. I may have played this map before, but I'm not certain, but the design, they nailed it. It makes you feel like you're in actual Havana. The lighting, the textures are amazing. Really sets up the dark mood of the whole map. This one's also on the larger side, so there's quite a lot to look at. Great map, rarely played, if at all. Piranesi is a map that I would, for some reason, confuse with Kabul or Kabul. Maybe because of the medieval aesthetic? I don't know. It was created by Ika Karvanen and released on June 12, 2002. It's a good looking map. The golden sunlight that casts a golden tint across the map is great. Sets up a mood of sorts. The design is great and the little details make up a great map. But I always preferred playing Kabul instead of Piranesi. Because I had played Kabul before I'd played this map, I always preferred the former. Great map though, rarely played. Airstrip was made by Christopher Audi and released on January 16, 2003. The last map to be entered into Counter-Strike. I played a lot of this map as a kid, but I don't recall playing this in any recent times. The jungle aesthetic is what sets this map apart from the rest. Textures, or rather sprites, line up the boundary walls of this map. The purplish skybox along with the orange light provides for a great atmosphere. I played a fair bit of this map in the past 20 years. A nice looking map. There's not a whole lot you can say about the original Counter-Strike. The only thing is that this was fun, and that's all that mattered. It was fun to play back then, and it's fun to play even today. Although some of the younger audience may not like this game if they have played CSGO first. I would say Counter-Strike played a very big role in the development of esports industry. There were tournaments, LAN parties, and everything in between. Of course, there is more to this. For example, several new game mods were created, of which the most prominent one is surfing, which still exists today. There were thousands of maps that you could download and play with your friends. Custom weapon models, custom player models, spray paints, it was outrageous. The communities that were built around this game still exist to this day. Little kids that played this game have now grown up to play professional CS esports tournaments that consist of $1,000 worth of cash prizes. While there were games like Unreal Tournament to uphold the multiplayer gaming standard, Counter-Strike provided a more boots to the ground tactical gameplay to the players. It might look obsolete by today's standard, but I believe this game is a timeless classic and will always be a part of my memories. It really is a testament to how video games affect our daily lives. We've always been here, always will be, and will go wherever the road takes us. Thank you for watching.